From a setting that'll actually fix your terrible aim, to an attachment that makes you invisible on enemy radars. Here are 10 things Battlefield 6 conveniently forgets to mention, and honestly, some of these will completely change how you play. Starting off at number 10, adjust your aim sensitivity. The default settings in Battlefield 6 are fine. Like, they're not bad, but they're also not optimized for you specifically. And in a game where milliseconds matter, where you're getting lasers from 3 different angles while trying to cap a point, having your sensitivity dialed in is the difference between clutching and getting sent back to the deploy screen. Your accuracy can genuinely improve just by spending 2 minutes tweaking these numbers. Drop your infantry sensitivity a bit, maybe 5 or 6 notches down from default, and suddenly you're not dragging your crosshair past people's heads every time you try to line up a shot. And then there's aim assist. I know some people have strong opinions about this, but if you're a controller, use it. You're already at a disadvantage compared to mouse players. The game actually lets you pick from different aim assist presets, which is pretty cool. You can go full classic Battlefield, or tweak it to feel like other games you're used to. The wild part is how much this actually changes your performance. It's not a skill issue, it's just your settings are fighting against you. At number 9, burst firing is back, and it's not optional anymore. So Battlefield 6 has this bloom system where your shots get less accurate the longer you hold the trigger. And for a while, during all the beta testing, it kept changing. Sometimes it mattered, sometimes it didn't. But now, after the launch patch, if you're just holding down the trigger and spraying, you're basically firing confetti at people, especially at any kind of distance. You need to fire in short, controlled bursts. Let the gun reset between triggers. It feels super unnatural if you're coming from other shooters where you can just laser people. But once you adjust, your kill rate goes up noticeably. If you are in close range, sure, do whatever. But medium to long distance, you're gonna lose every fight if you're not doing this. And the game doesn't tell you any of this. You just have to figure it out by getting melted over and over until you realize what's happening. Moving to number 8, and honestly this one feels like a cheat code. There's a button that instantly spins you 180 degrees. Controller players especially, you know how awful it is trying to find that perfect balance, where your sensitivity is high enough to turn around quickly, but low enough that you can actually aim. They just solved that problem. There's a setting that lets you do an instant 180-degree turn with one button press. No sensitivity adjustment needed. You just turn around immediately. You have to enable it manually in the controller settings. It's under the movement section, and it's called flick look forward and flick look backwards. Once you map it, you can spin around instantly without losing your carefully tuned aim sensitivity for everything else. It's one of those things that sounds small but completely changes how you play. Someone starts shooting you in the back, flick, turn, engage. No more frantically dragging your stick and overshooting. Next at number 7, and I genuinely don't understand why this isn't in a tutorial. You can change your fire mode on the fly. Most weapons let you switch between single shot, burst, and full auto, and you can just do it mid-fight. Whenever you want, when you're aiming, hit down on the D-pad and watch the little icon change in the corner. 1 bullet, 2 bullets, or 3 bullets. That tells you what mode you're in. And this is actually super useful depending on the situation. Long range, switch to semi or burst for better accuracy. Close quarters, full auto, obviously. What's funny is that same button does something completely different when you're not aiming. It toggles your tactical equipment, which means you can accidentally turn on your flashlight in the middle of a stealth approach and announce yourself like an idiot. Ask me how I know. At number 6, the minimap is basically wall hacks if you actually look at it. I know everyone says use the minimap in every shooter ever made, but in Battlefield 6, it's legitimately one of the most powerful mechanics in the game, and most people just don't pay attention to it. When there's a recon player doing their job, enemy positions just appear. No spotting required, they're just there. And even without that, any firefight lights up the map like a Christmas tree. The thing is, this game is absolute chaos. There's vehicles exploding, dozens of players running around, buildings collapsing. You're not going to hear someone sneaking up on you. The audio is a mess of overlapping sounds. But that minimap, that's clean information. There's 3 guys around that corner before you walk into an ambush. Their whole squad is pushing from the left so you can reposition. Flanking wins games in Battlefield. Catching people from the side or behind is how you rack up kills. And the minimap tells you exactly how to do it if you just glance at it every few seconds. It's not about twitch reflexes and out-aiming everyone like some other shooters, it's about being in the right place at the right time. At number 5, you can turn your gun into a mounted turret. If you're near a ledge, a window, basically any cover with a flat surface, you can lock your weapon onto it. Suddenly your recoil is almost gone and you can hold a sightline way more effectively. You need the right underbarrel attachment and then you just aim near the cover and hit the mount button. Your character plants the gun and you're locked in. The catch is you're kind of stuck there. You can't move as freely, which means you're vulnerable to flankers. But if you're holding a position and you've got teammates watching your sides, it's incredibly strong for locking down sightlines. You can test this in the practice range before taking it into real matches, which I'd recommend because it feels weird the first time. At number 4, silencers are borderline mandatory and the game makes you work for them. Okay, so the minimap in this game shows where gunfire is coming from. Every time you shoot without a silencer, you're basically announcing your location to the entire enemy team. It's like putting up a giant neon sign that says, "I'm over here, please kill me." A silencer removes you from that equation entirely. You become invisible on the radar. People have to actually spot you visually, instead of just checking their map and knowing exactly where you are. The problem is, you can't just equip one right away. You have to grind weapon levels first, and suppressors are usually the last barrel attachment to unlock. Most guns won't give you access until you've suffered through a bunch of other attachments you probably don't even want. There's one workaround, which is this Phantom Pack DLC thing that includes a gun with a pre-attached suppressor. And yeah, that feels a little sketchy, but the grind isn't that bad. One of the starting rifles only needs you to hit level 8 before suppressors unlock, which takes maybe a few hours of play, but the difference between playing with and without one, night and day. You'll live so much longer, it's actually kind of hilarious. At number 3, and this is gonna save your team so many tickets, stop immediately respawning. When you go down, there's this instinct to just mash through the death screen and get back in the fight. But here's what the game doesn't tell you. Your death only counts if you respawn. Getting knocked down doesn't hurt the team score, but hitting that respawn button, that costs a ticket every single time. So if there's even a small chance someone can revive you, you need to wait. And I mean actually wait, not just tap through and be like, nobody's coming. Support players can see downed teammates and they will come for you if they can. I can't count how many times I've gone to revive someone only for them to respawn right as I slide in. It's actually so frustrating. You're wasting tickets and making it easier for the enemy to win. Even when you're down, you can still be useful, mark enemies, ping that guy hiding in the corner, give your squad a chance to survive instead of walking in blind. And if you're gonna get knocked, at least try to go down behind some cover. Don't just bleed out in the middle of an open street where anyone trying to save you is guaranteed to get mowed down. Help us help you. Next at number 2, visual settings are secretly screwing you over. Battlefield 6 has all these cinematic effects turned on by default. Film grain, motion blur, that ringing sound when you take damage. It all looks cool in trailers and screenshots. In actual gameplay, it's just visual garbage that makes it harder to see what's happening. Turn off the film grain entirely. Lower or disable motion blur. You want a clear image, not some film school project. You're trying to spot enemies at distance, track moving targets, see through smoke and explosions. That tinnitus effect, where your ears ring after taking damage, that drowns out directional audio. You can't hear footsteps or figure out where shots are coming from when there's a constant ringing in your headset. All of this can be turned off in the settings, and you should absolutely do it. Sound design actually matters in this game. Directional audio can tell you where threats are coming from. Don't let some immersion effect mask important information. And finally, at number 1, smoke grenades are absurdly overpowered and nobody uses them. I'm completely serious about this. Smoke grenades are genuinely one of the strongest pieces of equipment in Battlefield 6, and people ignore them because they don't get kills. The support class gets them automatically, but honestly, everyone should be running these. They're the difference between successfully pushing an objective and getting mowed down in the open. Some of these maps are just flat open killing fields. Snipers everywhere, no cover, and you're supposed to cross 200 meters of nothing. Without smoke, you're dead. With smoke, you're invisible. The enemy literally cannot see you to shoot you. When you're trying to cap a point, having someone drop smoke changes everything. You pop it on the objective, your whole squad moves in undercover, and suddenly you're on the point before the enemy even knows what's happening. The reason people don't use them is because they want frag grenades or flashbangs, equipment that feels like it's doing something, but smoke doesn't pad your kill count, it wins objectives, and objectives win games. If you're serious about winning instead of just chasing kills, try running smoke for a few matches. You'll see what I mean. A few bonus things, which are really worth knowing. The vehicle controls have an easy mode. If you're flying helicopters, there's a control assist option that makes them auto-hover. You can just focus on shooting instead of trying not to crash into the ground every 5 seconds. Another one is playing engineer and basically playing on easy. Find a tank, be the repair guy, hide inside when things get dangerous. You'll live forever and your team will love you. It's boring but effective. That's it. 10 things plus a few extras that Battlefield 6 just assumes you'll figure out on your own.